Hello students, today we are starting on the fifth part of chapter number 3 Fiber to Fabric. In this topic we will be discussing how a silk is made from the cocoon. Yesterday in the previous part we had discussed about the life history of silk moth, in which on one stage there was a term known as cocoon, which was one part of the life of silk moth to obtain, and these silks are obtained from those cocoons. Now for obtaining silk from cocoon, the first step is about the rearing of silkworms. So the rearing of silkworm is usually done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of the leaves. Why? Because these silkworms usually feed on the mulberry leaves, means they eat those mulberry leaves. So this silk moth lays hundreds of eggs, which are stored very carefully on strips of cloth or a paper to avoid any kind of damage to those eggs. And then these eggs are sold to silkworm farmers, and those farmers keep these eggs under hygienic and a suitable conditions of temperature and humidity to allow a proper growth of the larva from these eggs. Here the first figure shows a silk moth laying hundreds of eggs, whereas the second figure shows a silk farm where where it is properly maintained to keep the conditions suitable and hygienic for growth of larva. Then they are warmed to a suitable temperature. These eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature so that the larva can hatch from the eggs. We know that for larva to hatch from the eggs, a suitable temperature is needed. So that is maintained by the silk farmers. And this larva, which is also known as caterpillar or silkworms, are then kept in bamboo trays, and they are served with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. And this larva or the silkworm, they keeps on eating these leaves day and night, and thus they increase a lot in size. They grows up very quickly within 3 to 4 weeks. So after 25 to 30 days or around 4 weeks, the silkworms stop eating those leaves and they start moving to tiny chambers of bamboo in the tray, having small racks or the twigs to spin the cocoons. Now it is the time for larva to make a cocoon. Here the third figure shows the trays made up of bamboo where the cocoons are placed, and this silkworm spins the cocoon, and inside which the further development of the silk moth takes place. This can be seen in the first and second figure. The first figure shows a silkworm spinning a cocoon around itself, and second figure shows a well developed cocoon, a completely made cocoon in which the silkworm has been developed into a moth. Now, so this was about the rearing of silk. Now let us discuss the second step, that is the processing of silk. In processing of silk, the pile of cocoons used to obtain silk fibers, here piles of cocoon means cocoons are used in large quantity, more number of cocoons are used, and they are either kept under the sun, they are boiled, or they are exposed to steam. In short, we want to heat those cocoons. Why? To separate the silk fibers from them. And this process is known as reeling of silk. It can also be defined as the process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as a silk is called reeling of silk. This is the definition of reeling of silk, and it is done by using machines. What that machine does? Those machines unwinds the threads of the fiber of silk from cocoon. Here the second and the third figure shows the use of machines and workers which are unwinding the threads from the cocoons. After unwinding the threads, they are spun into silk threads which are woven into silk cloth by the weavers. So this is how a silk cloth is made from a cocoon. And here the first figure shows the boiling of cocoon. Here the cocoons are boiled uh, in water. Okay, by boiling the cocoons gets loose and it becomes easy to unwind the fiber from it. So that's it, the chapter is completed here. Now you have few questions to solve.